What's going on YouTube? Welcome to today's video. Very excited for this video. Yeah, as you saw by the title, I was featured in Men's Health magazine. It's still really surreal to me. I honestly never thought I would make it to Men's Health, so very excited. So yeah, it's the one with Tom Brady. And then we got a little post-it note that Brett wrote, the writer. Brett was awesome, by the way. It's titled "A Fitness Star is Born." It's on page, what is this? 84 and goes, it's actually pretty long, goes to 89. So there's a lot of content there. I thought it was well written, but as you saw by the title, gonna go over, because whenever you do like a long article piece on someone and you're taking snippets of their conversation or just the day in general, some things could be taken out of context and some things could have been said in different ways. So what I want to go over in this video is just how did overall this article go? Did it kind of deviate from what I said? Was there more context that should have been included? Or just I want to give you guys a little bit more information on, guess what all went down with this, kind of the story that I wanted to talk about, and then also just kind of how this all came about, which was really cool. Again, very excited about it. So I did write some notes to hit some points, so we're just going to go right through it. The first thing is the front picture. The front picture is in the locker room at Crunch. We use this because it's got good lighting in that specific corner. And as you see on my thumbnails, that's usually where we do them. I was surprised because we did another whole day of photo shooting. It was crazy and something I've never done before. So they said, hey, let's all meet up this one day in the gym, another day outside of the interview day, the shadowing day. So we all met up. I trained and Amon filmed, and then they brought in like those big lighting contraptions. They had like a stand with the laptop. It was like I think it was like a 4 or 5 person team, so it was really cool to see. But I kind of laughed because the main picture is just me in the locker room with Amon. But I'm glad that it got both of us because I don't know, man. That's what gets the views. That's what gets the thumbnails clicked on. That's clickbait, I guess. But yeah, we also did that full day of shooting. We got some really cool pictures at the beach. I'm gonna contact them, see if I can get some of those. And then also just throughout the day, that was where that selfie pic came from. Our day at the beach. Also, I think it was just like the rest of the day. They also interviewed Nicole a little bit and got to see the dogs. If you guys don't chill, and we talked about Elon made his appearance in the video, in the thing, and then I think also Yumi was in the back. But that was the first thing, the main picture. There was a lot of other ones that could have gone into it, but I'm still happy it was a big picture, and the lighting was good, so physique looked okay. So the first thing, so spend the day is what I wrote down. So spend the day, hashtag Nicole. So I wrote down my notes, and because they sent this one to me, I want to like actually like have this framed and stuff again. Like I'm really, it's surreal to me. So this one that they sent out, I want to like get framed and everything. So I should have highlighted across, but just made like some points here. So spend the day. Oh yeah, so kind of about Brett spending the day, and then kind of just how that went over with Nicole. I got a DM, it was Brett, we talked back and forth. He was like, hey, we want to do a piece on like fitness influencers. And I was like, hell yeah, I'd be down. He was like, yeah, it's for Men's Health. And then kind of he was like, yeah, I would shout you for a whole day. And then I was like, well, I wake up at 4. Of course, I checked his profile and he looked pretty legit for Men's Health. And then kind of scheduled everything. So hey, we have a guest room. I start my day at 4, so like we can get a really cool full day, and I'll do a video. It'll be on one of my busier days. I told Nicole this like later in the day. I was like, hey, like we got someone staying over, and she's like, who is it? I was like, oh, it's some guy who DM'd me, and so that was interesting. But everything checked out. Brett was legit, so definitely that went over with Nicole. So I thought that was a funny little add-in. So the next thing I want to go over is so worked in a gym. So he said Brett did say like I've never worked in a gym. I did work in a gym at Rutgers. But I was just like at the desk in the gym. I put away weights. So I think what they were trying to say is that I never did work in person with clients necessarily. Outside of that, I've had a little bit of hands-on with people, but never like paid as personal training. So like with the powerlifting team, being the president 2 years, was helping people there, and just tips and tricks along the way, helping people from my own experience. And then the next thing is a pre-made program. So yes, so in the piece, Brett mentioned that I sell pre-made programs. Nicole and a couple people, when they were reading it over, of course, like right off, it sent a flag, and they were like, "Yo, Kev, like you don't just make pre-made programs. Like what is that?" And I do on my website. I do have like I think like a $15 program, $25 program, stuff that I've run in the past, like an upper lower split, and then like a longer term powerlifting split. Those are available on my website for like 15 and 25. Those are pre-made programs. So yes, it's not a large chunk of my income at all. I think we may sell like 1 or 2 of those a month. So those are available if you want to check those out. But it's just mainly like an Excel sheet with giving you some direction. But yeah, the stuff that I actually like promote, that is a lot more hands-on, and that's more individualized, especially if there are certain scenarios. So Brett said that I wake up at 4 every morning. I do to the best of my ability, sometimes 4:30, sometimes 5, depending how late the night before is, but the goal is always 4, weekends 5, because the gym opens at 6. But so he said that I do that because of hustle porn people that I look at, like Elon Musk, Gary Vaynerchuk. He didn't mention The Rock, so I was kind of like, how can you not mention The Rock when we're doing the 4 a.m.s? But yeah, so The Rock was someone I looked up to. I was like, okay, he gets his stuff done at 4. He has a productive day. He's got a busy schedule. I emulated that. I don't know what time Elon Musk wakes up, but judging by my dog in my car, I love me some Elon Musk. He works hard. So yes, he's an inspiration to me in terms of work ethic. Later on, Brett mentioned that I listen to K-pop. So another people that motivate me in terms of work ethic is the K-pop group BTS, because they're always dropping new music and working really hard. The next thing, he mentioned the car, so the Tesla. He said it's like a $100,000 car. It's a lease, guys. It's a lease, but yes, I love that car. It's a lot of fun to drive. Shout out to Elon again, the dog. The next thing is very funny. I'm going to put up a picture of this one. So when we shot everything, so both days we did a photo shoot day, we did the full shadowing day where Brett, you look back at my videos, me and Brett worked out together, and I was kind of like, oh, we have a project coming out. Didn't want to celebrate that too early, and that's what I always try to do when I have a project coming out. Don't celebrate until it's done. Same thing in sales. Don't celebrate a sale, even though someone said, hey, Friday I'm sending you the upfront payment. Never celebrate until that actually goes through, or that stuff. I've learned that, so I've just been like, we have something coming out. I've only told like my close friends, family. This was done, I think, 2-3 months ago. So wasn't trying to overhype it, but it came out, so now we can say, hey guys, check out Men's Health. But what I was saying was, oh yeah, Aman. So we did 2 days, 2 days of the shooting. Both had the YouTube videos. I think when Brett shadowed, like Aman was wearing like a loose hoodie or something. He usually wears like a hoodie in the mornings. So he's a taller guy. I think he's like 5'11", 6 foot. So he's wearing a hoodie and it's a little bit loose. So he was like gangly. Like Aman looks gangly. And he also said the verb was he latched onto me. But actually, he DM'd me. He said like, hey, I want to keep people that are like really motivated, trying to do big things, that have some big goals. He said he wants to surround himself with those kinds of people. He was like, I also can do some editing and doing some video with you. So that's how we started working together. He's been phenomenal. And then, so he said that he was gangly, but no, Aman's pretty jacked. He's in good shape, and we got his transformation photo here. Also, because he is very talented with photo and video, my man knows how to work the angles, the Lightroom, the lighting. So yeah, Aman is in good shape. He's I think him and Brett talked, and he was like, hey man, Brett said, I'm gangly next to Kev too. But no, like Brett's in really good shape, and so is Aman. They put in work. The next thing is following. There must be a reason for that. Yeah, so one of the quotes that I had was, I said what was noted was, the point of having such a large following is that you are putting a lot of good value out to people. It sets you up as an authority in the space. People look at you and say, oh, there must be a reason a lot of people are following. So kind of the context behind that, and what I meant by that is, if you see someone with like 200,000 followers, you're going to be like, wow, like why are 200,000 people following that person? Usually that's the first question that comes up for me, and then I'll like look at their content and be like, oh, they're really, they've got some great captions, they're educating people, this is someone I want to follow, maybe learn some new things from, or like, oh, they're showing some different exercises, or I mean, in some cases, like some people put up like suggestive posts, and those tend to get a lot of traction. And I think I mentioned this later in this video I want to go over, but a lot of times the aesthetics, the nice pictures, the male or female, the suggestive pictures, but where someone's physique looks really good or like a female looks really attractive, sometimes that'll get someone to step in the door. But if that's all the value that you're putting out there, that is just like, okay, that person looks good, okay, I like having them on my feed, then you're probably not going to grow a business. You're just going to have a lot of thirsty people following you, and you're not really giving them much value. So that's why it can be hard to grow a business. So the main thing is that will get people in the door. And what I try to do with my content is also sharing my journey, sharing things I've learned, things that work for my clients, and educate through the captions. So that is something I want to mention. And that was kind of what I was getting into by, there must be a reason for like following someone. So if you see someone with 1 million followers, I like to look at their content and be like, okay, why are so many people following this person? Usually they have pretty good content. So that's what that question is kind of arrives when I guess people look at my content and they're like, okay, like, why? And that was kind of what Brett, I think, said like after that quote. He was like, yeah, there must be a reason for that. So that's how we got to like, that's kind of how we wanted to learn about me, find out what I do in a day, and yeah, what I do. So the next thing is my knowledge for programs, science. So yeah, later on he says I have no formal education in personal training, also like NASM, ISSN, yeah, that journal is great. I don't have any like formal certifications. I was planning on doing it, but then like my business took off, and I'm like, if my clients are getting great results, they're feeling happy, me really dedicating a lot of time into that avenue, it could be good, it could be great. But I'm like, right now in my life, I think I want to focus on the business, continuing like serving my clients to the best of my ability, make sure they're getting great results. Doesn't mean that I'm not trying to learn more. Some of the best books that I have read, and a lot of them have a lot of good research behind them and a lot of citations. Finishing Up Fat Loss Forever with Elaine Norton, I think that's a great book. My favorite book for probably all around nutrition is Dr. Eric Helm's The Nutrition Pyramids. Phenomenal. It's backed by a lot of research, and I think pretty much if you can read that, and then we'll get into it, but learning the application, like you can have the knowledge, but it's always the application. Like everyone knows how to lose weight, eat less calories, but the application is so much more complex than that. So yes, I do not have formal certifications, but doesn't mean I'm not looking at science, research journals, and also listening to people that I hold highly in the fitness area. Brad Schoenfield, Eric Helms, Elaine Norton, Dr. Mike Israetel. I think they're all doctors except yeah, I think they're all doctors. PhDs, real doctors. My next thing was not looking for reinventing the wheel, want a clear plan. So Brett was saying like when people like go to my program or like what I do as a coach, like I said in the quote, people aren't looking for you to reinvent the wheel. Because again, there is no wheel to reinvent. We need a calorie deficit to lose body fat. We need progressive overload to get stronger, and pretty much most people know that. Like, we can only reinvent that so many times. Like, we have keto, we have intermittent fasting, all these fancy approaches, but the core principle is getting to a calorie deficit, or in training, getting progressive overload, then periodization, some more complex things. But yeah, I mean, as an online coach, I think one of the biggest things that allows me and my clients to be successful is that accountability. We check in every week. We have a face-to-face video chat, make sure they're hitting their goals, hitting their macros, staying on point. And pretty much the accountability aspect goes a long way, especially with nutrition. I understand with personal training, it's maybe an hour session, maybe 3 times a week. You can't really control their nutrition intake, I mean, over the course of 24 hours. If your goal is fat loss and you're training 3 times a week and you're not seeing results, I mean, it's more going to be dictated by what you're putting on your plate, how many calories you're consuming over the long term. That 1 hour workout, you may burn 300 calories, but your appetite is going to respond as well, and you'll probably be hungrier throughout the day. So if you're not having controls, you may just be eating those calories you're burning. But that's also why lifting weights is important. So yeah, not looking for reinventing the wheel. They want that clear plan. They want that accountability. If you can simplify something complex, everyone thinks like nutrition, everything's so complicated. But really, if you can help someone adhere to a caloric deficit and they have weight loss goals, you're going to be a great coach, honestly, because you'll get them to their goal, which should be agreed upon. The guy saying in-person work is mandatory. Oh, yes. So there was a quote by another person that was included in here. Let me make sure that I find it. Yes. So JT Mariniak. So he said, you can't fully maximize your impact on your clients without having hands-on experience training people. And it says that I would disagree. Canis obviously doesn't agree and believes I've been able to get it without the gym setting. So yes, I disagree in that it has to be like hands-on. It depends what your client's goals are. I mean, if you want to be like a movement specialist and really teach people like the best techniques, really like great form, you're probably going to need a little bit of in-person because there's only so much video analysis you can do. Although there's plenty of powerlifting coaches that do a great job with video analysis. The software is there. But I would say we more so agree than disagree. So he said that you're going to be the best coach if you have a lot of hands-on experience working with clients. So yes, I agree. Like me, and I had said it later in that same paragraph, I've worked with 300 people to this point, over 300 people, clients, and I'm so much better of a coach than my first 50 clients because I'm learning more and more that it's less the exact science perfect plan that you have, like, oh, their macros are to the T. It's more so giving them that accountability, the support, helping them troubleshoot when things are coming up. Hey, you got a wedding on Saturday? Hey, let's add a little bit of cardio going up to it so we don't completely fall off, and you can be a little bit more relaxed on that day, and you can really enjoy it because that's going to keep people adherent for the long term. And adherence tends to be the biggest issue with long-term transformations in nutrition and science. I mean, nutrition and training. You want to be able to adhere to your program. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of restrictive diets. So I totally agree with Jay with that. So you're going to be a better coach with that experience. So I hate to say that because me just graduating college, knowing my friends, it's hard to get that experience. If you don't have experience, it's hard to get the experience. But once you have that experience, I do feel like it's very valuable. So me knowing what I know now, after working with so many people, now I've seen how much of an outlier people can be. I'm such a better coach. So I completely agree that you want that. It doesn't have to necessarily be hands-on with someone, in my opinion, especially if it's weight loss goals. But having that experience working with people, you're going to be a way better coach than just being book smart. And that is the main thing. When we talk about certifications, you may be book smart. Again, you may know like, oh, the perfect macro to give, but if you can't help your client adhere to that, don't have the systems in place to help them adhere. If you're a personal trainer and like your client wants to lose 10 pounds, how are you giving them the other 23 hours of support a day on their nutrition so that they get that fat loss, that calorie deficit? So the next thing, yeah, totally agree with Jay. The next thing, commitment. Yeah, so later in it, Brett mentioned, we talked about my programs. So my bread and butter, Healthy Flex Prescription, my 12-week program. I, again, check in with my clients. We check in once a week, have a nutrition plan, training plan, and we have our own private Facebook community, all the fun stuff. And then if someone does, I do have a second level program. It's a 12-month program. So if people, Brett kind of said it in the way that if people are ready for the commitment, kind of more so the second level program, because it is a year long, it's more helping people sustain that lifestyle, those lifestyle changes. It's actually maybe a step back in like how rigid we're trying to be with our macros and everything, because again, a big data point is 95% of diets fail to retain that weight loss over like a 3-year period. So if you lose like 20 pounds, within 3 years, like 19 out of 20 people tend to regain that weight or even more. So a big goal of that, my retention program, my long-term program, is to make sure my clients continue progressing, continue having goals in place, because it's really easy. If you have a goal to drop 20 pounds and you're like laser focused on that, you'll probably get there, but it's kind of like, okay, I lost 20 pounds, now what? So you gotta have goals after that, or else it's just like, okay, like screw it, I'm gonna have a pizza today, and like, I've seen it with clients, I've seen it with friends. You make this great transformation, then it's kind of that now what? So it's important to have someone keep you accountable, making sure that you have a goal in mind, like, hey, like, let's go into a lean bulk or a maintenance phase, let's focus on your performance in the gym, let's keep exercising. Those are things that are gonna pay off in the long term. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily people that are ready for the commitment go into my next level program. It's more so the people that I think are ready. They've nailed the basics, they're ready to take that next step and also retain those results. And also people with those longer term goals. I have a client about to hit 100 pounds down, another client's about, he may have hit it today, but he was 49 pounds down. Then I have another person closing in on the 50. So some of those longer term goals, can't do that in 12 weeks. So that's another thing that we consider in that second level program. Next thing was YouTube money. Yeah, I think I was just gonna say that Brett nailed it. Well, yeah, I would have to quadruple my like YouTube following to really make a significant income. I would have to be doing a lot of like sponsored videos. And then also I understand if you're always selling, I mean, anyone who's in the fitness space or social media space, if you're always selling and not providing value for free to people that are following you, what's the point of following you? I mean, you're just an ad. So that's why I try to limit my like partnerships, sponsorships. The YouTube videos, when people sponsor this, did a recent one with Let's Get Checked. I think that's great because it's just like, okay, just like shout us out, 30 seconds, you still have your 20-minute video. It's not like the whole thing. Every video, even if you do have like a sponsorship, it's like 30 seconds, like, hey, like I think this company has a valuable service for people who are looking for it. Like Let's Get Checked, I thought that was a great company. It's only like 60 seconds out of maybe a 15-20 minute video. So I think those are a good way to go. But honestly, even if I did quadruple my YouTube following, I wouldn't be making much. I think I make like $2 a video. And like total on YouTube, I think I made like $500, being honest, maybe up to 1,000. I have like 200 videos or something. So YouTube and Instagram, I think I was gonna final thought that, but YouTube and Instagram, it's not necessarily you're gonna get direct money from it. You're gonna wanna use that as maybe your way of providing free value to, and then those people may wanna see your paid service. So if you can take that to the next level, if you're giving like great camera tips, then you have like a hands-on like photography, like crash course, Thinkific course, that would be great. And then people are like, oh, I picked up like 5 tips that like helped me a lot. This guy has like a $500 program. Let me check it out. Let me do it because I've already learned so much. And I've same thing with my mentor in Life Changer Academy, Sterling. Learned a lot from his podcast. I was like, hey, what's this paid service like? And it blew my mind. It was fantastic. So next thing. Yeah, so this one, I felt bad about this one. So we go over how I had like my first big spurt of growth on like Instagram. So I was scrolling, or I was coaching already, like of course early on, like 3 years ago or something. One of my clients tagged me in a comment. He was like, yo, is this you? And then I went over to the post and I was like, oh yeah, that's me. It's a picture of me off like bodybuilding.com that got reposted there. And then it was on that page, That Blue Duck. And then I just like commented, I was like, oh, or no, I didn't even like tag the page or anything. He saw the comment, he was like, oh dude, my bad, I'm sorry, like is it okay if I keep the picture up? I was like, yeah dude, like it's fine. Also, again, we'll go into it, but like shout outs, again, like people seeing you, maybe they think that your physique's impressive, and then maybe they want to follow you from there, and then eventually they start getting value from your content, and then maybe they become potential clients. So I was like, yeah, dude, you can keep it up. And they was like, yeah, like I'll make it up to you. I'll like also shout out a couple more. And then so we shouted out a couple more of my pictures. And then eventually he was like, hey man, like I do paid shout outs, reasonable price. And I've actually like, yeah, I pay for some shout outs from that Instagram page, because I've gotten a lot of clients that their first time seeing me, they saw me, my physique picture like on there, and they're like, oh, like this guy's in fairly good shape. They go to my profile, they see me eating ice cream, having a flexible diet, and they're like, oh, he's not suffering to get into good shape. Like, let me see what his program is about. So I have gotten clients that have just seen me like on that. And also I want to say, I think it was said to be like a thirst trap page. I know the owner of the page, Jacques. He's a great dude. So definitely no bad blood there. But yes, he just posts a lot of mirror pics of dudes in good shape. Next thing, yeah, I think that I wanted to just go in depth with that. So kind of Instagram clickbait. It's, if you see a good physique, like you may be like, let me follow them, and then you learn through their captions like what they're about. And then honestly, if they're good, if you see a great client testimonial, that may like be that pushing factor to say, hey, like let me try this person's service. So the next thing I wanted to say, especially with that, because I think throughout this piece, it kind of sounds like my growth on social media was very quick, up to like 180K. It's been, I'll be honest, it's been a slow growth. I wasn't posting at the rate like straight from the get-go, but I've been on like Instagram for about 6 years. I think 7 years, but I would consider 6 years once I got more into fitness. I documented a men's physique prep. I think I only posted like 5 videos. I also look like crap at the end of it, but that's why I got really thirsty for scientific information. That's why now I go more that evidence-based, #evidence-based approach. So looking more into science and research to kind of like figure out my game plan. So that was a big learning part of me, and we talked about like kind of how I got into fitness a little bit. But yeah, I wanted to say like 6 years on like Instagram, and when that shout out happened, that was probably my first like big growth. I was already, I think, at like 4,000 followers. Previous to that, I did have another growth point, like 1,800. I was working with a company in apparel. They did like a paid post. I think I went from 1,800 to like 2,200 because I was like the model for it. And then this one, I went from like 4,000 to 7,000 with That Blue Duck, like posting the first 5 pictures of me. And so last year I had a big growth spot. I think in October I hit 50K, and then like 3 months later I hit 100K. So I was like gaining 1,000 per day. That was my quickest growth ever. And then it's really tapered off. Like I've been at like 188. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks I was there. So I don't know. I don't want to like blame the algorithm. I always think that you should take responsibility and say like, okay, I'm in control of my actions. What can I do to maybe work out this algorithm, or just keep posting good content? Like people that are in your like following, like make sure you're serving them, giving them free value. So that's just been my goal, trying my best. The next thing, we talked a little bit about flex shows. Brett was like, you talked about flex shows, that's how some people make money, and it's like, I gotta decide if that's what I'm willing to do. So I get all the time, if you check my comments, check my DMs, do you have an OnlyFans? Do you have an OnlyFans? What's your premium Snapchat? Those are like, I think monthly subscription services where it's like a private, not a private cam, but like you have videos that have to be paid to be seen. So it's usually pornographic, or in many cases pornographic. I don't wanna just completely label the entire platform. But yeah, so that's what a lot of people are like asking me for. No, I don't plan on doing it. Yes, I troll about it. I think April Fool's was, go sign up for my OnlyFans at Hedge Gets Nasty. My social media is like Hedge Nasty. So it was a joke. It's a joke. But yeah, so that is something that is prevalent. That's how people make a living. Hey, if that's what you're doing, and like people are paying for it, like they value your service. Hey, you do you. Honestly, that is always my my motto. You do you, man. As long as it's not like being like mean to other people. Fake, yeah. So into the flex shows, then someone made a fake profile. We talked. Brett mentioned this. Someone made a fake profile of me. It was like Hedge Nasty 2 or something. DM'd a lot of my followers. Said like, hey, give me your credit card information. $2 a month. We have my private flex shows. Come see them. And reached out to a lot of people, and I had a lot of people reach out to me. They're like, yo, is this you? And I was like, no. That is not my flex show. So I think they were just trying to get credit card information, and I had trouble reporting them, even though many of my followers had reported them. So I don't know if we actually got, yeah, eventually, I don't know what happened. I think they eventually like subsided. I put on my story and stuff so people were aware. But yeah, that's why I need that. Instagram, if you're watching, give me that blue check mark. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because I don't want my followers being scammed. That's not cool. Even if they are looking for flex shows. Grinding, yeah. So Brett mentioned some of my like content like glorifies like the grinding, working hard and stuff. Yes, I think everyone should work hard. Everyone should have kind of a purpose, but mainly like goals, like something driving you like day to day. Like, all right, I'm aspiring towards something. For me right now, physique goal, doing a case study. I'm doing that bodybuilding show. I'm growing my business. So I have these things that get me up in the morning. I don't think necessarily you need to glorify grinding and like working yourself into the ground. But honestly, like if you are working hard, like you don't need to brag. You don't need to tell people. They see you putting in that work, and they will respect that. So I try not to say like, oh, all right, we're doing all this. I think that getting up at 4 in the morning is a useful tool if you maybe you're tired at 5 after work, which I know when I was on pharmacy rotations, I was toast, and pre-workout could not dig me out of that toast. So there's strategies at times for different people. But yeah, in terms of the grind, if you're working hard, you don't need to brag about it. And also, if you're working on a project really, really hard, don't brag about it until it's done. Yeah, that's how I feel. Buying followers. So Brett mentioned like buying followers. I've never bought followers. Yeah, he was right with that. Never bought followers. But yeah, I bought shoutouts because again, like if someone sees your content, if they're an actual person, they see your content, they're like, okay, Kevin's in good shape. Cool. And then they'll like go to my profile, maybe hit follow. 3 posts later, it's like, okay, like if you want to lose weight, do this, that, these things will help you make it an easier process. Eat your veggies, eat more fiber, eat more protein, maybe sleep better, stay hydrated. And they're like, oh, okay, that simplifies things. And then the next post is like, okay, control your calories in a 24-hour period, weigh yourself day to day, see if you're getting changes. They're like, oh, I thought that I had to just eat less or switch my like rice from brown rice to white rice or vice versa, white rice to brown rice, and then I would lose all this weight and I just had to eat cleaner. So like people may learn something and then they build that trust with you, and then they start maybe admiring your knowledge, and then may like want to work with you in the long term. Again, they may look into your service. So that's why I would say like, yeah, buying shoutouts is cool. I've only maybe spent like $200 on like shoutouts in terms of my like Instagram career, but I think that there's a place for it. In terms of buying followers, I understand if you're a business like Coca-Cola and you want to have that like, oh, why does Coca-Cola have more followers than Pepsi? They may be buying followers, and I see a valid reason for that. So again, you do you, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whoever's winning. Comments, yes. So one of the people in here, I believe it was Kevin Bello. Oh, he's got a great name, Kevin. He said that when he's looking for sponsored athletes, they look into the quality of their comments. Comments, so it's not just like, oh, this is fire, you look hot, stuff like that. More engaged, like questions and like a little bit of interaction there. Yeah, I'm totally for that. I think that's very smart that he's looking at that if he's like building his brand and like wanting good ambassadors. So I completely. Okay, what's up guys? So I forgot this camera has a 30-minute record time, and this is actually taking a lot longer than I thought, but yes, we'll get back into it. So yes, I feel that you want to have, if you are building a brand or anything, you want to have that quality engagement, not just like those clicks for pics. You want to have, be giving some value and have like more engaged followers, not just looking at you because you're pretty. So the next thing I wanted to go over, and where we are now, because I did finish this video, now I got to redo that part. Yeah, so we talked about buying followers, comments, quality. So yeah, and then next up is like less than 10,000. So Brett mentioned, and yeah, it's true. I've made less than 10,000 through direct sponsorships with like Instagram. Coolest thing I've done is definitely, or the biggest thing was I got a mattress, which was really cool, a bed mattress. It's really comfy. But that's like the biggest thing I've been able to do as far as like these Instagram partnerships, sponsorships, the short-term things, the one and dones. So I guess like in my 6 years, probably all of it came in the last year, but less than like $2,500 worth of stuff. The other thing is PE Science I'm a sponsored athlete with. That's something with like a contract, a sponsored athlete, you'll be able to make more so, but it's usually going to be like a side income or something. But PE Science, of course, it's got to be something within your niche, and also a product that you can, or a company you can really stand by. PE Science is really evidence-based. They do a lot of research on what they're putting in their products. So fantastic company. I'm really happy to be able to work with them. So yes, he also mentioned later, I'm very picky with the companies I do videos with, just because if you go to my video and it's like, hey guys, Kevin here. This video is sponsored by Barbie, and like this is the best Barbie doll like they've ever come out with. That's not really going to be too genuine because I'm not an expert on Barbie dolls. So that's kind of, I'm very picky, and I want the things that with the companies I work with to be of value to my followers. So like the Let's Get Checked sponsored video I did recently, I thought that was a great thing because people should know like maybe what their testosterone's at. They have STI tests that they can send out. So cool things like that I think will be of value, knowing that they're available. That's what I would be more apt to go with. And then also, I feel like with these sponsorship stuff like that, the best way to go about it is, and if you are like an influencer or like you're building your own brand, don't always be selling. You want to be providing free value to the people following you. Of course, you want to build that trust, provide free value, help them. You don't always want to be selling. So if like every post you put up is like, hey, buy this, hey, buy this, hey, I just tried out these new pretzels, buy those. I get a 5% kickback. It's like, no, don't always do that. You don't want to dilute all your content. That's something that is very important to me as well. So I turned out a lot of opportunities. Just like, I don't want to dilute my content. I want to make sure that I'm more so giving value than trying to sell you guys on stuff. And if I do sell you on something, it's going to be something that's going to be of value to you. Like PE Science protein, I think it tastes great and it helps you hit your protein. So stuff like that, and be genuine with it. So next up, I want to talk about the apparel goal. So Brett mentioned my sponsorship, my only one is with PE Science, but I do want to land an apparel deal soon. Yes, that is true. I do want to join with an apparel company in the future, but it has to, of course, fit. And he mentioned he dropped like someone like Gymshark, and he said because they're flashy campaigns. More context to that is like, I guess it kind of counts as flashiness in the campaigns, but more so the opportunities in traveling, those like meet and greet type events, like the Gymshark, Alphamine, those kinds of companies with great quality like clothing that fits good, accentuates the physique. But then also like very important to me is to be able to travel, meet the people that actually like follow me, interact with them, have these opportunities, those events. That's something that I'm looking for in an apparel company. So within that area. So it's not necessarily the flashiness, but I guess that is considered flashiness if you're having like events. So that's kind of a little added context there. T-shirts, yes. The next thing is during the rest of our day, I was bagging up some T-shirts and I was sending them out. So my members in the program, Healthy Flex Prescription, they get a T-shirt that only members of that program will get. Besides the people, of course, me and the people working behind the scenes. But yeah, I want them all to have like that kind of you guys are a part of the program, and I like doing that for them. Also comes with like a handwritten note, like welcome, like I hope you're ready to crush your goals, and that's something I really like spending time on because my clients mean a lot to me, and especially their success means a lot to me. So giving them that handwritten welcome, they're just like, okay, like someone cares about me. We've done this has all been online, but now I have a handwritten note. I knew someone put some actual time into this physically. So I think that's a nice little touch. That's why I do that. So busier day versus all my days, is it typical? So is that a typical day? Roughly, it's probably my busiest day of the week. I think it was a Thursday. And Thursdays is usually I'm checking in my long-term clients. I'm of course training early in the morning. Sometimes we're filming. It's usually like 9:30 to like 1. I have those calls. Sometimes I have an extra like project I'm working on. I have 2 more calls, then 4 to 6 is off. And then I have like 4 more calls, 4 calls to end the day between 6 and 8. So it's usually like an 8 to 8 or 9:30 to 8 kind of day with like a break for dinner. So that's one of my busiest days, especially if I have other outside projects going on. But my Mondays now have slowed down a little bit. I now just check in with my team, make sure that they have everything they need. We're on the same page. Me and Brandon talk about changes we're making to programs. Tuesdays, I go live at night, usually talk to one of my clients, do a testimonial. Wednesdays, usually a variety of projects. So it depends what I'm working on, but usually Thursdays are my busiest day. Consistently have a lot scheduled there. And right now it's a Saturday and I'm doing this video. So as an entrepreneur, and if you guys are entrepreneurs, you know, you get paid per project or per outcome. You don't get paid for how much time you put into something. So if I'm doing a project and it takes me an hour versus 10 hours, making the same amount of money. So got to be efficient, and especially with serving my clients, got to make sure things get done on time so they have what they need. Next thing I want to talk about, the goals board, very important. So on the controllable stuff, my goals board is right there. 1 times a week YouTube, 6 days a week of training, 20 hours of sleep per week. That's like 3 hours of sleep per day. I messed up the calculation when I first wrote that. That's been there since like January. Should have been something like 49 hours or 45 hours to be like around 7 hours a night. I do prioritize my sleep because I want to grow up to be big and strong and really jacked. So you got to be sleeping to accomplish that. So it's something more like 45 to 50 hours I want to aim for. How am I doing on that? Usually get around 6 to 7. So we can always all improve. Next up, so we're getting closing in. Yeah, pretty much I just want to close up and say like meeting Brett, like again, he kind of mentioned at the end of it was like hanging out with his little brother's friend. And yeah, like I agree. Like hanging out with Brett was really like seamless, really cool guy, really chill guy. He knows his stuff with like fitness and nutrition. Of course, he's writing on it. So it's cool for us to talk about like our goals as they are a little bit different from our different perspectives and backgrounds. So he was a really cool guy to hang out with, have some Chipotle with. And yeah, overall it was a lot of fun for the whole day. We just chilled. It didn't really seem like we were like working. And then the next thing is final thoughts. Yeah, and I want to definitely close in with this final thought. So overall, a couple things is, so 95% of my income again is coming from the business I've built, my coaching my clients, providing a service. So if you are like an influencer, someone, you have 100 followers, 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers, don't think that you just have to get that number up and that's going to lead to you making more money. Don't equate, because followers does not equal money is what I wrote down. So if you do want to like have a fitness business or something, or like you want to make money from like your social presence, like you got to have a service or like be providing that value to your followers. So provide free value, help them with their goals, like whatever your expertise is. If you're a photographer, you can give free value. Like this is how you do a photo better. Like these are 3 quick tips. For me, like if you want to lose weight but don't want to track your macros, hey, drink more water, eat more fiber, vegetables, protein. And then people are like, okay, these little things are helping me here and there. Then you can have a paid service where you put more time into building. That is going to help those people even more. So you don't have to think about I have to have 100,000 people following me. I'm just as happy as I was when I had like 20K or 40K or even less. It's just you also want to make sure that those people following you, they are engaged followers, and then you're going to have a higher percentage of potential clients if that is your goal, or you have that service or that product that you do want to sell in the long term. So don't equate that following equals money. There's a lot of people just getting by like, okay, pretty face, lots of followers, but there's not much substance in the captions, teaching people, providing value outside of that. So provide value for free. Help people, of course, provide that value, and then having like a second source I mean, not a second source, a second like program or something that you can learn even more from and get more of your dedicated insight. That's going to be like the way you're going to build a business, and also just double down on giving great value and results to your clients. And I do want to circle back to when I did say being a good coach makes you a good coach, just all around in the social media space or business space. If you're getting your clients good results, which you agree their goals are, and they trust you with getting them there, if you're getting them to those goals, having a good time at the same time, then you're a great coach because you're getting their goals accomplished. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over with this. Again, it's honestly still surreal to me. I never thought it would happen. But yeah, my grandma actually called me and we like talked about it, and she was like, okay, this is what you do, because I see you posting like shirtless pictures in the mirror here and there. I was like, yeah, grandma, there's a little bit more to it. So it's really cool that people around me now see more what goes into my day-to-day life. But yeah, overall, again, thank you to Men's Health. Thank you to Brett for sliding into my DMs. Had a great time making this. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Just want to provide you guys a little extra context. I think 95% of things were said very well. But I just wanted to give a little like background information with a couple things to allow you guys to get the full picture instead of just snippets. So let me know if you guys learned anything down below. If like maybe you read the story and you changed your mind over a couple of things, you got a little bit more information, let me know. And of course, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. See you guys in the next video. Keep it flexible. I'm out.